Hi everyone. Hi worms.
Hi, Worm.
Happy 5 year to Bookworm.
Yay!
So I'm Marissa. I'm the marketing coordinator. And I'll be talking with Amelia today as we reflect on Bookworm, but I'll give it over to Amelia to introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Amelia. I started Bookworm 5 years ago and now run this beautiful community of volunteers and do a lot of organizing and coding for Bookworm. It's a pleasure to be here.
A legend, an icon. Okay, so I'm really bad at interviewing, but we're gonna get into these interview questions in a way that's going to seem conversational and smooth. So yeah, I really want to hear about what made you create Bookworm and what inspired you to create Bookworm, I guess. Like the inspirations, what made you create it, like what brought you here.
Yeah. What brought me here? I think so. I've always been a really big reader, and I love reading and talking about books and like being in book clubs and finding other people who like to read and hearing what they're reading and all of that. And at the time that I started building Bookworm, there wasn't a place to do that. Like there was Goodreads, and I hated it. I thought Goodreads is, I mean, I still think Goodreads is ugly.
Yeah.
It's owned by Amazon, and a big
Yeah.
like part of my life at that time was trying to divest, like get away from Amazon in every way I could. And Goodreads was really like the last thing holding me to like the Amazon universe. And I was like, there simply must be a better way to track my books and also have fun and community while doing that. And I couldn't find that. And I have built apps for my job and for work. And so I kind of like knew how to do that already. And I was like, it would be fun if I built myself a book tracker. And so that's really where it started 5 years ago, just building a little tool for myself and kind of allowing that like creativity process to flow and like having all types of colors and silly little worms. And then I showed it to my friends and they loved it, and they showed it to their friends and they loved it. And then I was kind of like, okay, there's something here, like there's a community here. And it's been a really beautiful journey ever since.
So my next question was, so what was the process of creating a bookworm like? I know that we talked about the inspirations, but what was that process, the creation process, like for you? Was it like very lonely? I don't know how coders' lives are. I feel like they're like grunting and grinding over a laptop, maybe. I feel
No,
like
it's such a valid question. Also, definitely how it is portrayed in media is like lonely, hack into the mainframe. No, it was really fun. I mean, I think it's like one of the best like creative projects I've ever done. Like the biggest span of creativity. Like I still like really, really viscerally remember kind of like starting to build an app, which is just like a skill. Like it's just kind of like learning math. Like I don't know, you just like learn how to do something. And yeah, terrible to learn math. Hate it. But like once you know how to build an app, it's just like another thing of like series of steps. And so that part was like not that difficult, but I do really remember like in the very early days kind of being like, like what color, like, you know, apps are usually like white or black and then have like an accent color, and I was like, what should this accent color be? And I remember my roommate at the time being like, it doesn't, like, what if you had more than one color? And I was like, what do you mean? And then it was like this explosion. I was like, what if there's gradients? What if there's colors everywhere? What if there's confetti? Like, and that really just opened this door of like, oh, this can be a really creative opportunity, and like I can have a lot of fun with it and like draw all of these little gay wormy outfits. So yeah, it was a really fun process, and like I think it started really independently of like I just was kind of like building this tool for myself to track my books, and then once I showed my book club and my friends, I realized like that there is such a community aspect to it, and that's what a lot of people are missing from, like myself included, from other apps. And so that has like then informed everything we do. Like I think after that initial like, okay, here's an app that's like beautiful and colorful that I put all of this creative energy into, and we have this community input, like all of the features are driven by like what the community wants, or you know, like we get our like best friends, our besties in the app, or like ideas from the community. Like all, yeah, it's a really like I think community oriented process. And then about like a year into it, I started having people reach out interested in volunteering and building it with me. And so then that obviously became like a really like collaborative and fun process. Like, so it never felt lonely. I think in the beginning it felt like a hobby that I was doing, and then turned into like a project that many of us were doing. But yeah, it's been really fun, and it's so fun, and continues to be really fun.
I know, I'm working on Bookworm as one of the volunteer team. It is so fun. I'm like, "Ah, I get to work on Bookworm today." I love the worms. I love the community. Like, every post has at least like 7 comments, and I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah.
these worms. These worms. They're just worming.
Yeah. So chit-chatty, I really love it.
Yeah, so like thinking about, starting to build that community, what was like challenging about growing Bookworm? If that was like on your mind when you built this, like was growth on your mind, or what was the challenge of building Bookworm or growing Bookworm?
Yeah, growth was on my mind, but like something I had no experience with or idea about, really. Like, that's just simply not anything I've ever done before. So I was like, okay, I have an app, like I've told my friends, they've told their friends, and then what? But it wasn't ever like, I'm growing, like I want 1 million people on this app, like it's always been this really like organic grassroots thing. And so I think the early things that we did were like going to a bookstore, like going to places that have the other people that we want to be in the community, and then inviting them to the community. So we would go to bookstores, and I would like set up a table, and I mean, that's how we met you. Like, I hosted a like kind of scholastic book fair for adults at Blue Stockings. That was such a fun time. Like, just kind of hosting these events, like a book swap or whatever, like basically putting ourselves out there of like, hey, we have this app, it's really cool. If you know what Goodreads is, it's like that, but cooler and gayer and cuter. And like, I think so much of our growth has happened by like friends referring friends and word of mouth. And it has been really challenging. I think that's like probably not the way that most apps try to grow. But like, it's just what's worked for us. And also like, I'm not a growth marketer, and that's a whole field, and like people really know what they're doing there, and I certainly don't. So it's just like how we figured it out. And I think it also keeps the community like really rich and beautiful. Like, I think I do really think the most special thing about Bookworm is the community of worms, and like how beautiful and kind we are to one another. And I think that is also partially because of the way that we've grown, and like people find us through, friends and community and bookstores.
I love how it feels like Bookworm's growth feels very organic, like a garden or dirt.
Yeah.
Sorry, I always love doing like dirt.
No,
the dirt callbacks with the worms.
I love all of the compost puns.
You're really good at the puns. I'm like not.
You're really good at the puns.
It took me such a long time to like. Okay, can I tell you? We sent off our emails with like Wormly or Worm Regards. I was looking those up. Like, I looked up worm puns. Oh, I'm so bad at puns.
Did you find any?
A lot of them were really bad. I didn't look at Google's like AI search thing because they're always wrong. So I looked at some people's like actual stuff. I'm like, oh, these are all so bad. But like, someone made 100, and I'm like, that's impressive within itself. I couldn't even.
I feel like at a certain point, I just start swapping out parts of the word for like I'll just insert worm into a word,
Yeah, you're so good at it though. Like, you're like squiggling, like, and I'm like, oh, yes. Yes, worm squiggle around. I just don't think about it, or like squirming. Or like, yeah, it's just stuff like that. I'm like,
I mean, hey, I've been doing this for a while. I've got a bank full of worm puns up here. That's all that's going on.
Fair. Yeah, it took me, and it still takes me a long time to think of the word puns. It's getting easier. It's getting a lot easier.
Yeah, it gets easier. Hey, it gets easier.
Yeah. But speaking of that, moving to something that is this is a harsh transition. That's it. This is just a harsh transition. So from 2021 till now, how has Bookworm changed? And how has Bookworm changed for you?
Wow, cool. Really good question. Bookworm has changed a lot and also stayed the same in certain ways. Like, I think what's changed is like we've just grown and matured as like a group and platform. Like, I think the UI looked pretty bad 5 years ago, and we've since had like a couple of absolutely amazing designer volunteers who have helped us like make this look like a real, you know, professional app. So like that comes to mind of like, we have way more features, we have just like more cohesive, understandable user experience. We have a website and an app now. And it started as just like this little tiny dinky app that, you know, worked, but was probably ugly and hard to use. We've also grown so much as a team, you know, like again, it started as just me, and now there's like, there's probably been about 50 people who over the 5 years have volunteered, and I think now there's maybe like 20 people who are involved currently. So that's beautiful. And my relationship to Bookworm has also definitely changed. I've gone through a lot of different phases. At first it was a hobby, then it became something that I was trying to like turn into a job and get paid to do. Then I kind of realized that actually takes the fun out of it. Making monetizing a beautiful thing makes it hard and painful. So I've since gotten a different, like a full-time job, and now it's kind of more back to a hobby and something that brings me a lot of joy. But it's always been like a really beautiful source of joy and delight. I think like kind of like once a month we get a post on Bookworm of like how amazing the community is and how people feel like their lives are changed, or they're reading more, or they found community. Like that happens so often, and it's every single time I have chills, and it's just so beautiful that like I contributed to that. And that has been really consistent throughout.
Yeah, no, that's I see those posts a lot, and I'm like, wow, this is like wholesome. Like,
and like so rare for an internet community. I feel like I really don't see that. Like,
I feel like I see people on Bookworm too, or like, I gave up all social media except for this, and it's like, whoa, that's cute.
Wow.
Like, love that.
And
I'm
I
missing
think
out some great memes, but love that. Like,
I know, like my hour, that's my emotional support hour of TikTok a day. But I think that's also like, as I see that the internet has changed in the last 5 years, and like algorithms have changed in the way that like social media has changed in the last 5 years of like really trying to trap you and stick you. And that's really become the norm. And that's also been interesting to watch of like, that's never something that we've been interested in, of like, first of all, like having an algorithm to like predict what you'll most engage with, but also like trying to keep someone in the app for as long as possible has never been a goal of ours. And so it's been interesting to watch like how I feel like it's almost kind of come around where now there are more apps like Bookworm where like, hey, we're just here, like we're a beautiful space, like you come in and you come out, like no problem. But you know, whereas compared to like TikTok or Instagram, you see them just like really just trying to like micro hone in on how can we get you for every second and thinking about it. So that's also been fun and scary to watch the internet progress over 5 years, and like how Bookworm changes and stays the same throughout that.
yeah,
I'm proud of us.
yeah, very steady, but changing. I was about to say a phrase that had nothing to do with it. I was like, a rolling stone gathers no moss, but I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what that means.
But it's giving worm.
It's giving worm.
I'll tell you that.
I know it's like dirt, like
something
moss
there
and stuff. Okay. Well, yeah, no, well, thank you for sharing that. I'm so bad at interviewing y'all. Like,
You're doing
I'm bad at this. But okay. When you hear that Bookworm is 5 years old, I mean, this may be similar to the last question, but when you hear like, oh, it's 5 years, like, how does that make you feel? Because it's like, wow, that's like 5 years of my life. Like,
it's insane.
5 years ago.
It's hard to believe. Like, it feels wrong. It feels like it should not be 5 years. Like, I am shocked consistently that it's been 5 years. It feels like it has gone so fast. Like, Bookworm is so fun and beautiful. Like, I kind of can't believe it's 5 years old. I can't believe I've been working on this for 5 years. Like, that's amazing. I'm really proud of myself. I don't know if I've ever had such a long committed relationship, so we love that for me.
Women out.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like, it's so wonderful. I don't know. I definitely, when I was making it, I wasn't thinking. Like, people were asking, like, what do you see in 5 years? What do you see in 10 years? And I kind of never had an answer, because I'm like, we'll see where it takes me. And this is a beautiful thing. And Bookworm will grow as it grows. So it's cool to now be here 5 years later. And like, that still feels very true. but also the passage of time is terrifying and scary, and like I wish it would stop.
Oh my gosh, my next question honestly kind of counters what you just said, but it was how do you want Bookworm to grow? And you're like, people ask me 5-10 years and I need GAF. And I'm like, oh yeah, like how do you
No, but I have an answer. I do have an answer. I think like I want it to keep growing like it's been growing, you know, like I think what's so important to me, and I think the other Team Worm volunteers, is like that we maintain the like integrity and beauty of the community as we continue to add more worms to it, which has been one of the coolest things that I've seen Bookworm do. Like one of the coolest things about Bookworm is that as we continue to grow, like we continue to keep this spirit and like wormness about us. Worm pun. So yeah, like I think the numbers isn't important to me of like, you know, I want to hit 10 million users. Like that's not it, but definitely like I want more people to continue to find this space as like a warm and loving and help them read. Like people read more because of Bookworm, and that's amazing. And I want to find more books and help authors promote their books and help more readers find their people and help book clubs organize, and yeah.
And it's beautiful. I think it's like really astounding to have this be a platform of like users for for 5 years. That would also be my longest relationship, and I'd be like, whoa, let's chill out. But also,
calm down.
But we're not pumping the brakes on Bookworm.
No, we're not pumping.
We're hitting the gas. We're going full speed ahead. Sonic the Hedgehog. We're going fast. Well, maybe not. Maybe because we're not doing like. Well, anyway. Great. Love this. Love everything about this. Okay. Okay. So I wanted to like talk about like books. So what are you reading right now? And what were you reading 5 years ago? Like, what was the kind of stuff, if you can recall, like, things you were reading 5 years ago?
Yeah. 5 years ago, I was definitely reading, like, literary fiction. Now I read much more broadly and not so thoughtfully. Like, I'm gonna try a book. I'm gonna try 10 pages of a book, and if I don't like it, I'm gonna put it away, and maybe I'll come back to it later. But I am, like... I'm consuming. I'm really and I'm way more and I love an audiobook in a way that I didn't 5 years ago. Like I just couldn't figure out how to do it, and now I love an audiobook. But what I'm reading right now, I'm kind of in a slump, honestly. Oh, I hate to say it. It happens to us all. It happens to me like 4 times a year, but yeah, I'm in a slump right now. The last like really good book I read was Ocean Vuong's The Emperor of Gladness, which I finished like last December. Well, okay, that was 1 month ago, but for me, that's a long time.
Yeah, I mean...
What are you reading, and what were you reading 5 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, I just watched an interview with Ocean Vuong, not to get snobby. He said the word exegesis, and I was like, love.
Don't know what that means. Never heard that.
I'm not going to try to explain it, because I looked up the definition like 4 or 5 times, and I'm like, still hasn't stuck yet. But like, it sounds nice on the tongue.
It does. Sounds really nice.
I'm
really smart saying it.
Thank you. Speaking of smart or maybe like elitist, I'm gonna move towards elitism. I read a lot of poetry and I read a lot of literary fiction. Like it is not. I wish I picked up, because of the worms. I picked up that Hunger Games Sunrise on the Reaping.
Mm-hmm. How was it?
I'm like 80 pages in because I did like Haymitch.
Yeah.
Well, actually, maybe I shouldn't get into it, but like, because maybe spoilers, but like, yeah. I'm like, okay, yes, reading can be fun. Like, I don't have to like read these really harsh books. Like 5 years ago, I mean, I still read the same. It's like, some people just don't change. That just didn't happen for me. But I was reading a lot of poetry and a lot of like literary fiction, and hey, I read the same thing now. But
yeah, you're a big poetry reader.
I love reading poetry. Yeah, and someone's like, "That's not a real book," and I'll be like, "I'm sitting in that. I'm sitting in that image." So I don't know, but anyway, that was my reading habits 5 years ago, and now I'm reading The Sunrise on the Reaping. But I'm also reading a dissertation on American poetry.
Of course you are. And that's
balance.
rad. We love that.
Okay. So one of the questions I had, pretty much we just answered. But what books have worms influenced you to get? And were there any that were good? Were there any, of course there's probably some that were good, but which ones were good? And were there any that were like, that's a chop?
Yeah. Definitely. Okay, there's some, like, Bookworm has influenced my reading so much, and I think especially has kind of introduced me to the genre of sci-fi and like fantasy in a way that I don't know if I would have gotten into otherwise. Like just seeing the recommendations and the specific recommendations. Like I think also what Bookworm does so well is we go much beyond the like, you know, top 10 bestseller lists, and there's like these really niche, like if you want like gay, cozy, adventure, fiction, like there will be 10 recommendations for that in 5 minutes on Bookworm, and that is one of the genres that I got into because of Bookworm. But yeah, fantasy and sci-fi, I think big time, and especially like the Becky Chambers I found out about through Bookworm, and I love everything that she's ever in, and I continue to recommend that to everyone. And that's definitely thanks to Bookworm. Also Ursula K. Le Guin, who also is like the sci-fi. I think also just like as the earth continues to deteriorate in a way that's scary, like sci-fi and fantasy are fun escapist places for my brain.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate Bookworm for giving me all those options.
Very, very fair. No, my Bookworm has recommended me some stuff that I was like, whoa, I'm gonna add this to my TBR. Like there was one, it was like called Bride.
Oh yeah.
But like I think it's werewolf romance.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it is.
It is? Oh, you've read it. Okay.
I haven't read it. I just know a lot about it.
Okay. But people, when I said I would like, I put that on my TBR, like 3 or 4 people liked it, and I was like, I'm nervous.
One of the genres that I didn't mention but has come to mind is like I get really good smut recs from Bookworm because I feel like we read elite smut. Like it's just it's not your run-of-the-mill smut. It's like really high-taste smut. And yeah, Bookworm is really good for that. And I kind of do think that Bride is monster smut adjacent.
Okay.
I can't say for sure because I haven't read it, but I'm pretty sure.
I don't doubt it. Like the cover was giving, like I was like, this might be something. I know I don't read smut. I'm quite the prude. Like I just finished, like I'm about to after this I'm gonna read The Scarlet Letter. Like I haven't read it yet and I have it on my bookshelf and I'm like, it's time.
Smut. Watch out.
2026, time to read The Scarlet Letter. So maybe that is whatever. Anyway, so my last question. Can we expect new surprises for Bookworm's 5-year anniversary? And then
Definitely.
What can we expect in the future? Yeah.
Absolutely. We will have some fun little Easter eggs for our 5-year anniversary. We're always working on new features that the worms have been asking for. So we've got some things in the works there. And also, like, we always want to hear from the worms in the community. So if anyone listening has something that they want to see, like hit us up in the DMs or on Bookworm or whatever, or Amelia at bookwormreads.co. You can send me an email, and we love hearing from you. Like that's where pretty much all of our ideas come from, is from the community. So definitely look for some fun features. Should I name some or should I keep them a surprise?
Ooh. Give them, just one. If they watch this video the whole way through, I'll be like, whoa, yeah, they deserve this one.
They deserve this. Okay. Well, this one has been asked about for a while, but we're working on the like page tracking. So people want to be able to track like what page or chapter or percent of the book they're on. And that will be coming this year. And then there are some others that I'll keep as a surprise.
Yay. Well, that's our interview, y'all. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Amelia, for taking the time to meet with me on this Thursday. And thanks for making Bookworm.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, folks. Thanks again, and happy 5 years to Bookworm. Happy birthday. And yeah, see y'all. Bye.
Bye.